All over the world, the line between faith and law can be sharp. Recognition by the state decides whether a community can marry, register property, and build houses of worship. All sources for this video are available in the description. Every claim you hear is backed by reliable reporting and legal analysis. Number 10 is Indonesia. The state officially recognizes 6 religions, which are Islam, Protestantism, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Judaism is not on that list. The result is a legal invisibility that complicates identity documents, marriages, and community registration. Small Jewish circles exist in Jakarta and in North Sula. Private prayers and learning continue in quiet rooms and borrowed halls. Without recognition, those circles cannot easily register institutions or claim the same legal footing as recognized groups. Public life remains constrained. Officials sometimes show tolerance at a local level. Everyday neighbors may show goodwill and curiosity. The structural issue persists because national rules drive civil administration. Judaism stays outside the framework that grants full religious status. This absence does not erase memory. Families preserve stories of traders, scholars, and travelers who once crossed the archipelago. Yet recognition is a legal door that remains closed. Communities adapt with resilience while waiting for a better path. Number 9 is Kuwait. Modern Kuwait acknowledges several Christian churches and facilitates Hindu worship for expatriate communities. There is no synagogue on record and Judaism lacks formal recognition. Community organization for Jews remains private and unregistered. A century ago, a small Jewish presence traded in the Gulf. Over time, migration and regional upheavals reduced the community to silence. Today, private gatherings may occur discreetly. The law offers no charter for institutions and no clear avenue for public worship. Recognition matters because it protects rights like burial and marriage. It also allows communities to teach and to maintain cultural archives. In its absence, people rely on personal networks and consular support. Judaism survives as a private identity rather than a public one. Change in the Gulf is real yet uneven. Interfaith conversation appears in forums and business councils. Until legal categories expand, the situation for Judaism in Kuwait stays ambiguous, tolerated in private yet absent in the official ledger. Number 8 is Comoros. The constitution identifies Islam as the religion of the state and anchors public life in Shafi jurisprudence. Non-Islamic prejudice is prohibited and public space reflects a confident Islamic identity. Judaism has no path to recognition. Foreign workers may practice another faith in extreme discretion. Any attempt to form a Jewish institution would face a legal wall. The result is not merely a small community, but a community without legal standing. Paperwork and permits are out of reach. Law and culture move together on these islands. The social fabric is tight and tradition is strong. In that fabric, Judaism is invisible to the state. There is no recognized field where it can root and grow. Religious minorities often live at the edges of the map. They endure through memory and friendship. In Comoros, the edge is legal rather than geographic. The framework itself sets the limits of what can be seen. Number 7 is Mauritania. The nation defines itself as an Islamic republic and makes Islam the religion of the state. Citizenship and religious identity are bound together in law. Judaism therefore has no recognition and no visible communal life. Foreigners may gather in diplomatic compounds for private rites. The public square remains explicitly Islamic. Without registration, there is no way to mark a Jewish marriage or to secure a communal cemetery. Civil procedures do not accommodate the community. Legal design shapes daily reality. A registry that lists only one faith cannot reflect a diverse society. In such conditions, Judaism is not simply small. It is structurally impossible to formalize. People still meet, help, and host one another. Human ties are more flexible than statutes. Yet rights depend on forms and stamps. Without recognition, the bureaucratic journey is a maze with no exit. Number 6 is Somalia. The provisional constitution declares Islam the state religion and forbids the propagation of other faiths. Judaism has no recognized status and no institutions. Decades of conflict have also hollowed out spaces where minorities might gather. Where law restricts speech and assembly for religion, communities struggle to keep continuity across generations. Identity becomes quiet and internal. Documents do not name it and buildings do not display it. Security pressures compound the problem. Authorities prioritize stability and see non-Islamic outreach as a risk. In that environment, a Jewish presence cannot anchor itself in public life. There is no corridor toward recognition. Even in calmer regions, the legal baseline persists. It is difficult to petition for a category that does not exist. The result is an everyday silence. People live their beliefs privately and without institutional cover. Number 5 is Malda. The Constitution requires every citizen to be Muslim and ties civic rights to that identity. Public practice of other faiths by citizens is prohibited. Judaism therefore has no legal recognition in the islands. Tourists may pray quietly in private resort spaces. The law draws a bright line between citizens and visitors. Synagogues do not exist and communal registration is not available. Religious paperwork cannot be issued for Judaism. Such rules turn recognition into a question of belonging. To be a citizen is to be Muslim in legal terms. For a Jew born in the islands, the path is blocked. Identity and law point in different directions. This is one of the clearest cases of non-recognition. It is written plainly into the constitutional fabric. Change would require a redesign of citizenship and conscience, a difficult debate for any society. Number 4 is Afghanistan. Under Taliban rule, public religion is tightly controlled and defined within a rigid interpretation of Islam. The last widely known Jew departed Kabul in the year 2021. The community no longer maintains open institutions. There is no synagogue in operation and no legal channel for communal life. Judaism has no space in the current order. Even private worship walks a narrow ridge. Fear and uncertainty shape every decision. Afghanistan once hosted many cultures and faiths along the trade routes. Memory remains in old neighborhoods and in scattered archives abroad. For now that history is a whisper rather than a living practice. Recognition is absent and the future is uncertain. Survival for minorities depends on trust and discretion. Yet trust is fragile in times of conflict. The legal signal is simple and stark. Judaism is not recognized and not protected. Before we continue, your support matters. If you value careful reporting and respectful storytelling, please subscribe and share. Your encouragement helps us reach more viewers and sustains in-depth coverage of faith and law around the world. Number 3 Eritrea. The government recognizes only 4 groups, which are the Orthodox Church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church, and Sunni Islam. All others must register under demanding rules, and many are denied. Judaism has no recognized foothold in that system. Arrests and closures have targeted unregistered religious activity. This pressure chills any effort to organize. Without legal status, a synagogue cannot function openly. Teaching and community service recede into private rooms. Authoritarian controls treat diversity as a threat. Uniformity becomes a policy goal rather than a byproduct. In that policy, Judaism is simply outside the permitted circle. The door to recognition stays locked. People continue to believe in quiet ways. Songs, prayers, and memories persist in homes. A community, however, needs structures and rights. Without them, continuity is hard to maintain. Number 2 is North Korea. The state ideology of Juche saturates public life and independent religion is treated as disloyalty. Showcase venues exist for other faiths under state supervision. Judaism has no presence and no recognition. Visitors and diplomats do not receive space for open Jewish worship. The system is designed to absorb or suppress. Institutions arise only when the state creates them. A grassroots synagogue would not be allowed. Information from the country is limited. Yet every credible account points to the same conclusion. Judaism is absent in law and in visible practice. Recognition is neither offered nor expected. In such isolation, communities cannot form. Transmission requires gathering, teaching, and archives. Those pillars are missing by design. The structure is hostile to any independent religious life. Number 1 is Saudi Arabia. The kingdom restricts public practice of non-Islamic religions and guards the religious character of shared spaces. Judaism has no formal recognition and synagogues do not operate openly. Private worship by foreigners may occur with discretion. Recent years brought reforms in travel culture and dialogue. Yet the legal framework for public non-Islamic worship has not opened. Pilgrims of many faiths visit the region for work and for history. Public Jewish institutions remain beyond reach. The absence of synagogues marks daily life. Rights that require communal space face the harshest limits. Recognition is the missing link between tolerance and freedom. Without it, a community stays provisional and private. Interfaith contacts are growing in business councils and cultural forums. Hope exists in conversations and in small cooperative projects. Law, however, is the decisive instrument. Until it changes, Judaism will lack public status in the kingdom. Across these 10 countries, a pattern emerges. When the state narrows the list of recognized religions, minorities lose the tools of continuity. Marriage, education, and burial require documents and institutions. Without them, identity becomes a matter of memory rather than public life. Recognition is not only a legal word. It is a promise that communities can stand in daylight. Where that promise is withheld, people adapt with courage. They also carry the cost across generations. Understanding these landscapes helps us avoid easy claims. Each country has its own history, debates, and pressures. The aim is not to condemn, but to clarify. The facts speak most loudly when presented with care. If you learned something today, please consider subscribing and sharing. Your support helps us keep building a library of rigor and respect. Thank you for watching and for engaging with complex realities. We hope this work encourages thoughtful conversation wherever you live.